Have you ever looked up at the sky on a dark, clear night and wondered, is there anything out there? We all know of the sun and the other planets in our solar system, but according to Universe Today, there are roughly 200 to 400 billion stars in our Milky Way. To boggle your mind even more, it's estimated to be 200 million galaxies in the universe. So one could assume the possibility of Earth-like, life-supporting planets in the universe would be high. According to The Crowded Universe by Alan Boss, there may be 100 billion Earth-like planets in our Milky Way. So to illustrate that, this is a picture of the Earth in relation to some of our other close planets. And now, here's Earth. We start seeing how we keep getting smaller and smaller. This here's Jupiter. Just to show the vast size of where we are in the universe. So Earth down here, this is our sun.
The big one go. The big one.
And we show here's our sun. Arcturus, a star in our Milky Way. And here we are even more. The sun, 1 pixel, and this is Antares. And this is our Milky Way galaxy. Okay, so through my research and using facts and documented information throughout history, I hope to shed light on evidence of ancient aliens. So looking throughout history, one can notice multiple clues that the Earth has been visited and influenced by ancient aliens in the past. So today, I would like to alert you of the following important information. Ancient alien evidence in past cultures and civilizations, in hieroglyphs and clay figurines, and in European paintings. So first, let's take a look at ancient aliens in past cultures and civilizations. First we have here is the Nazca Lines of Peru. And basically, according to Stephen Hall's National Geographic article, Spirits in the Sand, the Nazca Lines were not discovered until the late 1920s, when commercial flying between Lima and Arequipa began. It says, created somewhere between 500 BC and 500 AD, there's hundreds of individual figures, lines, and geometric figures with over 70 zoomorphic designs of animals, with the largest being 660 feet across. So the question is, this is the one called the Spider, and basically it's thought to be that this is a map of a constellation in space. And here we have what's called the astronaut. And now these things, you gotta remember, were created between 500 BC and 500 AD. So the question is, the Nazca people, if these could only be truly appreciated from an airplane or from the sky, why did they create them? Did they have an ancient method of flight that we don't know of? Or was there ancient astronauts that were actually visiting the area? Next up, we have the Moai statues on Easter Island. According to article Mystery Heads by Know Your World Extra, there are more than 880 statues on Easter Island that were made roughly 1,000 years ago. The largest Moai statues are 33 feet tall and weigh nearly 83 tons. And no one knows how the people of Easter Island moved the huge heads. The statues have large heads, a 3:5 ratio of head to body. They are often called the Easter Island heads. However, they are actually full-body statues that have been buried. Next we have the Pyramids of Giza. It says this is the last standing ancient wonder of the world. It took over 20 years to build. Each stone weighs 1 to 20 tons, and there are 100,000 stones making up the pyramid. So when these things were made, that's roughly 2,500 BC when these were created. There was no machinery, no engines, no construction devices. How were the people able to create these pyramids? It's also believed that the relation of the pyramids mirrors the constellation in Orion's belt. Next, we're going to take into account ancient alien evidence in hieroglyphs and clay figures. This is called the Pharaoh's helicopter. And what this is this on a ceiling beam of a 3,000-year-old New Kingdom temple in Egypt. And the hieroglyphic seems to show technology that is current with our advancements today. Helicopters, submarines, airplanes. Looking at the photo, however, we'll move on. Okay, my picture's not working, but next we have Pachel's sarcophagus. And basically what it is showing, according to Robert S. Carsland of the Flowering Bed, Pachel's sarcophagus, it's a engraving on the top of his sarcophagus. And basically what it shows is his deception on the lid of a deceased ruler's descent along the world tree into the underworld. But actually looking at the photo, and this is a picture of NASA's Mercury mission on how they flew in their pods. If you could see the picture, it was actually very similar to this picture here. Moving on, they have in Ecuador and in Japanese culture, they have these things called dogus. And basically what they are, they're figures created in the Jomon period, roughly between 14,000 BC and 300 BC. It's considered that these clay figures were to depict goddesses or to be fertility rites. But however, looking at some of these dogus, one could make the assumption that are these ancient astronauts in their astronaut gear. This is another one of the Japanese dogus. And this is actually the clay figures from Ecuador. And these were actually found in a subterranean cave system in the jungle. And basically what you can see here, these are supposed to be 7,500 BC old. This kind of looks like a spacesuit. Moving on, we're going to see ancient alien evidence in European art. This first one here is called the Annunciation of Saint Immedius, and it was painted in 1486 by Carlo Crivelli. It says, according to San Allen, author of In Our Image, Virgin Mary is kneeling inside a building with what appears to be a dove, the Holy Spirit, above her, but outside the sky is a UFO emitting a beam of light down. Notice this guy, what is he looking at? Next we have the Madonna with Saint Giovanni. This was painted in the 15th century by Domenico Ghirlandaio. This is a fresco of Madonna and Child revealed on the top right side image a UFO hovering in the distance. Zooming in on the fresco reveals incredible detail about this UFO, including portholes, and it seems to show a religious involvement between UFOs and the appearance of Child Christ. Next we have the Baptism of Christ. It was painted in 1710 by Art de Gelter, considered the best student of Rembrandt. According to J. Venter in Ancient Earth Mysteries, Earth's Baptism of Christ displays a circular formation in the sky with several rays of light shining upon Jesus. The circle is not composed of cherubs, nor is the dove or Holy Spirit portrayed. Here we have the Crucifixion fresco. It was painted in 1350. It depicts two men in spaceships on each side of the picture on the crucifixion of Jesus. And if we zoom in on one, this is what the picture actually depicts. So in conclusion, let's talk about the stuff that we learned today. Ancient alien evidence is evident in past cultures and civilizations, hieroglyphs and figures in European paintings. Second, you need to take action. Go back and review all the common things in history and see if you can apply this idea to them. Have an open mind. Question things that are presented as fact. Nothing is improbable or impossible. Finally, be sure to take this information and do some research with the purpose of knowing the truth. It would be silly to think that we are the center of the entire universe and that we are the only intelligent life there is.